Hi, you're listening to It Happened to Me, a rare disease and medical challenges podcast. The mission of our podcast is to support you, our listeners, and to create community as you confront the toughest challenges in life. All of us will experience health hardships. The real question is how we adapt. That's the focus of It Happened to Me, which wants to help you overcome limitations and live a full and satisfying life. Drawing on their own health challenges, co-hosts Kathy Gildenhorn and Beth Glassman interview guests who share stories and research to help you succeed in the face of difficult health obstacles. It happened to me. I'm not alone, and neither are you.
In this episode, we are so honored to welcome three incredible guests to It Happened to Me. First, Dr. Bradley Black, a trailblazer in pediatric ophthalmology and a global advocate for children with visual impairment. Dr. Black is a past president of the American Association for Pediatric Ophthalmology and Strabismus, a recipient of the Parks Silver Medal, AAPOS's highest honor, and has performed pediatric eye surgery in over 30 countries. One of his greatest achievements is founding Vision Through Music, a program of the Children's Eye Foundation that helps blind and partially sighted children access music instruction tailored to their needs.
We are also thrilled to welcome Makayla and her mom, Joann. Makayla is a student of the Vision Through Music program. She is visually and hearing impaired due to a genetic condition. Despite the challenges she faces, she is passionate and a young musician who is currently learning violin and preparing for voice lessons. Makayla is also a young author. Her book, The Way I See It, follows Elena, a red fox navigating the world with visual and hearing impairments. Makayla and her mom, Joann, are dedicated to raising awareness about rare vision issues and the power of accessibility. We're so excited to share this wonderful Vision Through Music program today. Welcome to both of you.
Now, Dr. Black, what inspired you to create the Vision Through Music program? And how did you realize there was such a gap in music education for the visually impaired?
First, thanks for having us here today. Blind children have inherent musicality, and many of them have the potential to become exceptional musicians. 45 years ago, when I was a young pediatric ophthalmologist, the overwhelming majority of early blind children were educated in state schools for the blind. And those schools typically had very robust music curricula. Kids were exposed to instruments and to music and had a good music education. Today, the overwhelming majority of those children are in the regular school system. And it's not unusual for a blind child to be the only blind child in a school. So that school's not going to have the resources or ability to provide an appropriate curriculum for that child. Parents, when they find that their visually impaired child has some musical talent, are often frustrated in looking for a music teacher. Music teachers are often intimidated with the idea of teaching a visually impaired child. So Vision Through Music was developed to improve access for visually impaired students to music instruction.
Wow, that's terrific. Thank you. Makayla, can you share how you first got interested in music and what it means to you personally? And then Joann, how did you learn about the program?
So we had been looking for a music teacher for me for a very long time because I'd always been interested in learning a musical instrument. So my mom did a lot of digging, a lot of research, and through a parent board that she's on, she heard about Vision Through Music, and she asked my ophthalmologist about it and got more information in the recommendation.
Wow. And Joann, how did you learn about the program?
I believe that through that meeting, I reached out to Makayla's TVI and she gave me more information. I think Makayla had a eye doctor's appointment, and her doctor questioned me about it, and I got the information, went to the website, and then I believe I was contacted
Wow.
after
Now, was
visiting.
this new to both of you, or had you kind of heard of it or read about it before?
No, I had no prior knowledge. It was at that parent meeting when they said it
Okay.
was something new.
Isn't that
Gotcha.
that's wonderful? Well, Dr. Black, your story, it's almost back to the future. So what used to exist, the program for blind children and music that once existed, you brought it back to current times, which is a wonderful, wonderful thing that you have done. I wondered if you could talk a little bit about the research about why blind children have this musical talent as compared to their sighted peers.
Yes, we find that blind infants and toddlers are much more attentive to sound and to music than their sighted peers. At any age, visually impaired children are more advanced musically than their sighted peers.
Not a,
It's perfect pitch is very common. The prevalence of perfect pitch in the Western population is estimated at 1 in 10,000 people. Among virtuoso musicians, depending on the study, it ranges between 15 and 20%. In early blind children, depending on the study, it ranges between 35 and 65%. So it's very, very common for visually impaired kids to have perfect pitch, as well as this um, ability to have some inherent musicality. In recent years, in the past 20 years or so, with brain imaging, we're now able to look at the musician's brain, at the early blind brain. In virtuoso musicians, there are changes in the brain that are different from the rest of it.
interesting.
And what we see in the early blind brain is that those same changes are present, but they're exaggerated even more than what we will see in the virtuoso musician.
So we can actually see this in the brain. That's remarkable. So Stevie Wonder, I guess he was blind from birth.
Stevie Wonder has what's called retinopathy of prematurity, which is damage to the retina that can occur in premature babies. And at the time that he was born, there was not any treatment for that. Today, we're able to treat it, and the incidence now of retinopathy of prematurity has become a good bit less, but it's still present.
I wonder if he would have had the musical talent had the repair occurred.
Well, it's a very good question because we don't see this same inherent musicality in sighted music students as we do in those that are visually impaired. One of the fascinating things that happens in the brain is that the visual cortex is the visual part of the brain. And in a blind person, the visual cortex doesn't just sit there and do nothing. When we do what's called functional magnetic resonance imaging, looking at the visual cortex. In a blind music student, there will be recruitment of that part of the brain in interpreting music. So it's actually working to contribute to interpretation.
Isn't that remarkable? So the brain doesn't go to waste. It's constantly working.
Correct. And it's able to adapt to that kind of situation.
So Makayla, I have to ask you, studying the violin, I'm in awe. I think the violin has to be an incredibly, a difficult instrument to learn, but obviously you love it. Tell us what is wonderful about it and what's really challenging.
What I find really wonderful about it is just the music is incredible, and how the music is made is incredible by rubbing the bow against the strings.
Yeah.
And what's hard about it is you have to get exactly where you need to be, or it sounds completely awful.
Yes.
Like, the bow has to be in the exact right position for the music to sound good. And there's no clear place to put your fingers. You have to have muscle memory and like pitch recognition to know where to put your fingers so the notes come out good.
Makayla, when I am fortunate enough and go to hear a symphony, and you are right, they're all at the same angle. Is that what you're speaking of? That you have to only have your fingers in the right place, but then the angle of the bow has to be correct as well.
Yeah, there's a very specific way to hold the bow and a very specific place it has to be on the strings. And if you're even just a little bit out of place, it squeaks like crazy.
Oh, wow. Wow. Well, Dr. Black, how does the Vision Through Music Registry help connect families with experienced music teachers, whether violin, piano, or otherwise?
On our website, that's at visionthroughmusic.org, there is a registry of teachers, music teachers who have experience teaching visually impaired students.
Wonderful. I'd love if we could get that website link on our show notes so that the audience listening today can find more information should they need it.
And so that's a registry that's searchable by region, by instruments taught, by whether lessons would be virtual or in person. So a family can go there and find an appropriate teacher. The Vision Through Music also provides financial grants for students who do find a registry teacher and begin lessons. The financial grants are available to help cover tuition or cost of an instrument, so that there is a scholarship fund that we're able to use in that instance. There's also an email address if people have specific questions, contact at visionthroughmusic.org. And so that way we can answer any specific questions that people have when they do visit the website. We also will help people find teachers.
Wonderful. And again, we'd like the link for that to put on our show notes so the audience can easily access anything they're interested in pursuing.
Very good.
Wonderful. Well, Makayla, your story is incredible. And you even wrote a book. What inspired you to write The Way I See It? And what is your main character, Elena, like? And then Joann, what was your reaction when Makayla told you she wanted to write a book?
Well, it all started, I'm a Girl Scout, and it all started as my Silver Award project. So I knew I wanted to do something that addressed hearing and vision, and I wanted it to reach a whole bunch of different audiences. So, with the help of some of my friends, we came up with the idea to write books.
That's exciting. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And I'm Makayla's Girl Scout leader. So I knew it right from the beginning.
How did you react? Were you surprised or not at all? It was right in character.
When the idea came up, I absolutely love the title, The Way I See It. It has multiple meanings. So I absolutely love the name of the book because it is the way that Makayla sees it. And I'm just thrilled. It's going over very well. We have a local insight and they have camps in the summer for blind children. And we had an event, a beeping Easter egg hunt event, and they purchased Makayla's books and handed them out to all of the children. Makayla got to sign it. It's just been absolutely wonderful.
This is such a beautiful, beautiful
Very proud of her.
concept and the way it happened. And that's wonderful.
I have to say, Makayla, I am so impressed by you.
Thank you.
So Dr. Black, listening to this bright young person, it makes me think how important it is for teachers to be trained to help children who have a visual impairment. Can you describe what that orientation is like? So crucially important. We can't lose a child. We need every child to perform at their best. And Makayla is certainly doing that.
Yeah, so that's one of the things that we're really striving for with the program, is that so many visually impaired children have the potential to be great musicians, and we don't want any of those kids to fall through the cracks.
No.
That's what we're trying to discover those and just in the general public, and also among teachers and teachers of visually impaired, to know about the program and know about the importance of exposure to music. For teachers who do not have music teachers who do not have experience teaching visually impaired students, we established a course with the Academy of Music for the Blind in Los Angeles, to where this teacher can spend some time where they shadow teachers at the Academy of Music for the Blind and participate in teaching students at the Academy. This is a virtual course, and we've had a number of teachers who have completed that. And in fact, Makayla's teacher did the Academy of Music for the Blind course.
Wonderful.
So what we're trying to do is we need more music teachers to be engaged in teaching visually impaired students. And almost universally, once a teacher is exposed to that, there's some real excitement to being visually impaired students. First of all, these students typically are really excited about their music. Most of them will tell you it's the best thing that they do. So that's very different from a lot of sighted music students, where children sometimes are going, music teachers know this, where kids will come in and they're sort of being made to go to the lesson. And so in this instance, these kids typically are just really excited about it. So there is, many children have the potential to be that exceptional musician. Even those that don't, there's improvement in academic performance, kids' communication skills, personality blossoms. The my music students that I meet are charming, poised. They have identified now as a musician and are very excited and proud of that. And so I think that there's a great quality of life improvement that parents are excited about as well.
So, Makayla, no one has to force you to practice. Is that what not like my
Not
kids,
at all.
right? That I had to force them and then it became a battle. So you're joyfully practicing the violin.
She loves her teacher. She looks forward to it. She practices all the time.
It's more like she has to force me to stop practicing.
That's wonderful.
What a world that has been opened up to you. I just think this is great. So, Makayla,
Absolutely.
if I can ask you about your vision, and Kathy and I both have visual impairments. Is your vision, what is it like? Is it declining? Is it stable? Where are you now?
It is slowly declining.
It is degenerative. It has gotten worse over the years. She no longer has night vision, which was not always the case, so that she lost that. And also the peripheral vision is closing in.
Uh-huh. Uh-huh. And Joann, how do you and your family adapt for these changes?
We've made changes over the years, more lighting. We all know to push in chairs and to not leave anything on the floor because
Yes.
you don't use a white cane in your own home. So
Exactly.
that needs to be safe, and
Yes.
and she lets us know if something is out of its place. The refrigerator is very challenging. Things get moved around. She often says that she looks forward to having her own refrigerator so she knows where stuff is kept.
See what you're talking about, Makayla. My husband will moves things around and it drives me crazy. I want to find my jam and I know where it's supposed to be. So yes, you have to be bossy, Makayla.
So, Dr. Black, what kind of outcomes, specifically music or developmental, have you really seen in children who participate in this program?
Yeah, and I referred to that a little bit. I mean,
but I want to really highlight and underscore.
Yeah. So as far as musical skill, it's can be remarkable how quickly some children are playing. I mean, Makayla has been playing violin for what, 6 months or so?
Yeah.
And what we'll see is that a lot of times there's just this musical ability that's there, and not only are children they're learning the music theory and they're playing certain things, but they're also starting to compose and be able to listen to music and play it, which are skills that are very difficult for sighted musicians. And so it's fascinating to see that because it's a very special talent, and a lot of visually impaired kids are going to be able to accomplish that.
Does it seem to instill a sense of confidence that allows the students to really excel in all different areas, not just music?
The answer is yes, but Makayla, I'm going to let you speak to that a little more. What do you think?
I'd say yeah.
Is it something that you feel that it really gave you the confidence to try that you were a little reticent of before you realized the opportunities that this program kind of unleashed in you and your mindset?
I was always a little tentative to start playing instruments, and whenever I did, it never really turned out as well as I would have liked it to because the teachers I had weren't trained to teach someone who is visually impaired, and they were also usually teaching a full class at a time, not just me. So, yeah, definitely having one-on-one lessons with someone who's fully trained has definitely given me a lot more confidence in music.
Wonderful. Wonderful, wonderful. And do you remember the first time you played a song or sang something and felt really proud of yourself? And what
Definitely.
was it?
The first song I learned to play was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star, and it was so fun, and it didn't sound the best, but I really
You
enjoyed
did it. You did
it.
it.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Oh, Makayla, you are too cute for words. Is all.
Absolutely.
Dr. Black. So, can you tell us about the collaboration between the Academy of Music for the Blind and how that came about and the role they play in the program?
David Pinto is the director of the Academy of Music for the Blind in Los Angeles. The school is one of two schools in the country that exclusively teach visually impaired students. The other one is in Manhattan. It's the Philemon D'Agostino Goldberg Music School, and both of those schools are on our registry. When I had this idea originally, I didn't really know what I wanted to do with it, but I found David Pinto online. Just
Wow.
Academy of Music for the Blind. I sent him an email. He didn't know who I was, and told him there were some things I wanted to talk to him about. We got together. I visited out there and kind of talked about what we thought we could do with this, and eventually launched the program. So David's been very involved in providing educational material to the website. We have educational material for students and teachers. We've got a very extensive resource section for blind musicians. So there's other material that's there in addition to the registry. And then we established the training program for music teachers with the Academy of Music for the Blind. And that's been very important because we don't have enough music teachers out there who have experience teaching visually impaired students. We need more teachers to be engaged in that. And what we're trying to show teachers is that this is, first of all, many things that you teach, the way you teach a sighted person, you do things the same way with a visually impaired student. But then there are some important differences. A visually impaired student, in most cases, is going to learn to play by ear initially. A sighted student is able to emulate another player or look at music notation. And Braille music is important, but a lot of times comes along later. So that there's a difference in the way a visually impaired student is going to learn. And what's interesting in that is that so many of those students have such great ears is that they're able to listen and then play. And for teachers that have good improvisational skills tend to be very good teachers just because of that.
Wow.
It's exciting to have students who are, first of all, excited to be there and doing what they're doing, but also there's some great mystery and excitement to the music that comes out of visually impaired students. And I think that becomes very rewarding and exciting to teachers also. So we hope to have many more music teachers that we can put through the Academy of Music for the Blind course.
So, Dr. Blackett, really, we owe you this online question that you reached out to, and look what happened. What you started is really miraculous, and we all owe you a great thank you.
Thank you. Really, it's beautiful.
Thank you.
We're enabling children to have something, to discover something special about themselves. They know that they're different, but now they know they're special, and we owe that to you. What could be better? And I'm sure, Joann, you know how important it is as a parent for each of our children to know that they have something that makes them special. And
Absolutely.
Makayla, you have something that is very special. You're both visually and hearing impaired. How can you help people understand what that's like for you on a daily basis, how you live with this?
Well, it's really hard to answer questions like that because I don't know what it's like to not live with it. So it's very hard to compare something with something I've never experienced. But if I were to try to explain it, it's just you always have to be on guard and paying attention to everything around you. I can't see on the sides of me, so I constantly have to be like turning my head and constantly paying attention. And I've been told that I use my hearing to see a lot. So
Mm.
like if I hear someone coming, I look and I see who it is.
Do you also smell things? Do you think your sense of smell is also heightened?
Yes, definitely.
I personally can't stand garlic, and I have to tell you, Makayla, when I smell garlic, I run the other way.
Cinnamon is too strong.
I
I can't handle it.
We share that in common. Joann, how do you see this from a parental perspective?
She has something with touch. It could be the most beautiful outfit, and if it doesn't feel right, it
Yeah.
doesn't matter. She's not going to wear it. And
Uh-huh.
it could be something maybe not that great looking, but it feels fantastic and she wants to wear it. So
Uh-huh.
touch is definitely something. Have
That's
through the
wonderful.
years said that she absolutely, with hearing aids, she uses her hearing to see all the time.
And it sounds like you do a very good job of it, Makayla.
We had no idea about children that are blind or visually impaired, that they were better with music. We had no idea, but boy, it's just absolutely wonderful that it was uncovered. And I can't thank Dr. Block enough, because this really has opened up something for Makayla that I just feel as though it's absolutely wonderful. So I am so appreciative, because we just had no idea. She loves to sing, and voice lessons will start soon, and I can't wait to see what that entails. And even the violin, I think it's been closer to 4 months that she's been doing it now, and I would love to see a sighted person that was learned about the same time to see what the difference is, because I have nothing to compare it to. I only hear Makayla's, and it sounds wonderful to me.
Yeah. Wow. I got to say, Makayla, I'm so proud of you hearing everything that's
you.
going on. It's just wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Black. But Dr. Black, you've had a long and decorated career in pediatric ophthalmology. And how does vision through music stand out as a personal highlight with everything that you've accomplished?
So it's great fun. We started this at about the time that I was retiring from my clinical practice. So I talked about sending that email to David Pinto. I have sent cold emails to so many people, and I've, as a result, met so many people that I would have never met before. And I've learned a lot. So it's been a very educational thing for me. It's been great fun and very rewarding. And just, I mean, you can see right now, just to be able to listen to Makayla and Joann talk is really fun.
And it's got to be gratifying. I mean, you've really made this possible.
It's a young program. It's doing very well, but we're still looking for teachers. We need to be for just general public to know a little bit more about us. And so this certainly helps. And yeah, what we hope to see in the long run is that every visually impaired kid gets an opportunity to be exposed to music. And we hope that we have a good part to play in that.
Wonderful. And Makayla, what are your big dreams? Whether with music, writing, or something else?
Well, my big dream is as in what do I want to do in the future?
Yeah, keep one for yourself.
I've heard a florist.
Yeah,
Oh,
I wanna own my own flower shop.
beautiful. Smell and touch and everything. I bet you'd be fabulous as a florist.
Yeah. I also wanna get into voice acting, and I've been doing theater for years and years.
Very nice. And Joann, what are you excited about for Makayla's future?
Well, as her mom and learning about vision impairment as we go, I have 2 children. Her sister is older, and I've always been able to see her future. It hasn't been as clear to me with Makayla's future, job, so on and so forth. And when she had such a success with her book, it's exactly what I needed to know, that she is going to overcome and she will find her thing, and she will just be wonderful at whatever she decides to do.
I love it. Beautiful. And congratulations, Makayla.
Absolutely no doubt, Makayla. We're going to hear about you. I know that. Dr. Black, if the family is listening right now and they want to get involved in the program, how do they do that? How do they sign up or find a teacher? What do they do?
Well, the first thing is to go to the website. So again, we can put that link in. It's visionthroughmusic.org. You can find the registry there. What we have you do is just to enter an email address and set up a password, and that then allows you to go into the teacher registry. If there is, and that way you're able to look at a bio teacher, what instrument or instruments they teach. You can look at what you like about what you see on the registry, and then get in touch with the teacher directly. The contact information is there, but we are also happy to help. So if someone looks at the registry, has some questions, they can contact us, and we will help you find a teacher. We know the teachers quite well now, and so a lot of times we can and when we talk with you, we can sort of make some suggestions about what might be the best match. There is also good educational material on the website. That's also useful for people that are already playing, for teachers and students, but also somebody that's considering starting lessons. And then for established musicians, there's a resource section for blind musicians, and that has everything from braille music resources to various types of just all different types of programs and organizations that help.
Well, Dr. Black, I am so thrilled that we can help get the word out. And all our listeners, this is a fabulous program. And, to any parent, we want our children to be exposed to all sorts of joys that life has to offer. And isn't music one of them? So this is really a wonderful avenue for parents to pursue for their children. So for all children, the exposure to music is beneficial, but clearly, Dr. Black has shown us that for children that are visually impaired, this is an added benefit. This is something that they're going to be good at. So strike while the iron is hot and both children to music through this program. It just sounds like a great opportunity. So Makayla, I know that you have a very supportive family. We're listening to your mom, but there are lots of families who they want to be supportive and maybe don't know how to do it. What is the best way that your family is supportive of what you do?
They ask questions, which is incredible and very helpful. If they don't know how to do something or what would be the best, they ask me and they listen to my opinion and they try to do their best to help with whatever I need.
It's wonderful.
Oh, that's great. That's great. Thank you. Because that's something that families really want to know. We want to be supportive. Parents want to be supportive, but we aren't always sure how to do it.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you for that.
Absolutely. And Dr. Black, I've got to ask you, what message would you share with healthcare professionals and educators in general about the need to incorporate music into the lives of blind and visually impaired children?
Yeah. So first of all, I think music is important in everyone's education, but it's especially important here. And from what we've already talked about is that we have in the visually impaired community, we have a lot of people who potentially could be great musicians. And so we want to discover those people. But for those who are not, that's not what they're going to do. They're not going to be they play music, but may not be uh, as exceptional as a musician. There are just so many benefits to that academically. There's a quality of life issue. Makayla's already talked about it. You've already mentioned the idea of that there is something special that I can do. What happens is that among visually impaired students, you could let Makayla address this, but a lot of times when you're at school, that's the one thing that's very different for you compared to the rest of your classmates. And when you start playing music, and particularly when you may then at some point meet other visually impaired musicians, you realize that I'm a musician. It's an identity, and it's important because you know that there's something that you're doing well and that you really like to do. And so I think there's just a quality of life issue there as well. So yeah, we'd like to discover every great musician out there, but it's a very beneficial thing that just about everybody that gets involved taking lessons.
Wonderful. And Makayla, what's your favorite thing about playing music or writing stories and how it makes you feel?
My favorite thing about it is you can take anything, like when you're playing music, the emotions that you're feeling are reflected in the music, and it's so representative of how you feel. And to me, it's one of the truest forms to express yourself. In writing, you can take anything from your brain and just write it down, and you can take it wherever you want because it's your original work.
Dr. Black, what's the long-term future of Vision Through Music?
Well, we hope it gets just bigger and bigger.
Yeah.
Again, I would love it if every visually impaired kid ended up involved in music, and I hope that we play a large part in making that happen.
I'm going to do what is really sort of tricky. To our listening audience, I've never asked this, but I think this is something worth supporting. Write in and send some money. This is a great, great program. I think we should all help this program. I really am so impressed and overwhelmed by what you are talking about and what you have done. So listeners, let's support this program. So Makayla, for all of the people out there, what advice would you give to other kids or families that are going through a vision loss?
If I'm giving advice to a child who's dealing with vision loss, it's that you're not alone. Everything that you're going through, someone else has gone through in some kind of variation, and you're going to be okay. And you can deal with whatever you're trying to deal with, and just like try new things. Like I never thought I would get into the violin, and I have, and I think I'm quite good at it.
I bet you
Aw.
are.
That's so wonderful. I can't say it enough. I'm very impressed with you, your poise
Thank
and
you.
delivery, and just your dedication to all that you're doing. And I want to thank you all for taking the time to come on It Happened to Me today to share about this incredible program and the impact that it has on you, Makayla, just on our vision impairment community. It's just a tremendous gift. And I hope that it can inspire and ignite passion in all of our listeners with a visual impairment the way that it has with you, Makayla. And I thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode of It Happened to Me. We encourage you to learn more at ithappenedtomepod.com. Please use the contact form on our website to submit your guest suggestions, comments, questions, ideas, and feedback for the show. You can also email us directly at ithappenedtomepod@gmail.com. We would really appreciate it if you can leave us a 5-star rating and review on your podcast app like Apple or Spotify. This helps others in the rare disease and medical challenge community find us. It Happened to Me is created and hosted by Kathy Gillenhorn and Beth Glassman. I'm Keir Deneen from DNA Today, and I serve as our executive producer and marketing lead. Amanda Andrioli is our associate producer. Ashlyn Anokian is our graphic designer. And remember, it happened to me. I'm not alone, and neither are you.